You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because doing it would change who you think you are. And yeah, that feels like a loss. Most people think identity is something deep, something authentic, something you discover. It isn't. Identity is what you protect. You didn't build your identity to grow. You built it to survive, to avoid embarrassment, to avoid being wrong, to avoid being seen while unfinished. Not consciously, not maliciously, but, effectively. Identity is a shield. It protects you from failure, from shame, from exposure. And the stronger the shield, the less movement you allow. Because movement threatens the story. That's why you don't just delay tasks. You delay versions of yourself. As long as you don't start, you can stay the smart one, the one with insight, the one with standards, the one with potential. Potential is the safest identity there is. It sounds ambitious, but it demands nothing. Potential doesn't need proof. Results do. The moment you act, potential collapses. It turns into something measurable, something judgeable, so you delay. Not because you're lazy, but because delay preserves who you are. This is where smart people get stuck, not because they lack understanding, but because intelligence is excellent at defense. Smart people don't avoid action by accident. They do it elegantly. They talk about timing, about context, about doing it right. They're all perfectly reasonable, all perfectly paralyzing. Intelligence doesn't free you. It just gives fear better language. You don't say, I'm scared to fail. You say, it's not the right moment. You don't say, I don't want to look incompetent. You say, I have standards. Standards are interesting. They sound like integrity, like quality, like principle. But very often they're just fear in a well-tailored suit. I don't do half work. If I do it, it has to be good. I don't want to lower myself. What you're really saying is, I don't want to be seen before I'm ready, but readiness is a myth, because readiness would require exposure, and exposure threatens identity, so you wait and call it discipline, or taste, or self-respect. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't fear failure, you fear being seen while unfinished. Failure can be reframed, explained away, even romanticized, but unfinished effort? That shows intention without control, and, well, that's dangerous to the ego. As long as you stay stuck, your identity stays intact. You remain consistent, recognizable, safe. Movement, on the other hand, forces you to renegotiate who you are. And, most people would rather stay the same than become visible. So identity becomes the brake. Not because it's wrong, but because it's loyal. It protects your past decisions, your self-image, your narrative, even when that narrative is costing you progress. At some point, something breaks, not dramatically, quietly. You realize that your self-image is no longer helping you live. It's helping you avoid living. That's unmasking. And unmasking feels like loss, because when the story falls away, there's nothing to hide behind, no excuse, no justification, no explanation, just a gap, a kind of emptiness. People misunderstand this moment. They think the emptiness means something is wrong. It doesn't. It means there's no defense left, and that's uncomfortable, but also rare. In that gap, you don't make a good choice, or a smart choice, you make a real one. Do I act without guarantees, without protection of my self-image, or do I keep defending who I am and stop pretending I want change? That's the actual choice, not productivity versus laziness, not discipline versus chaos, but identity versus movement. You don't need a new story about yourself. You don't need confidence or motivation or clarity. You need the willingness to move without knowing what it will say about you. You can protect your identity, or you can get results. You rarely get both. Most people never choose consciously. They just keep defending.